Hello everyone and welcome to this video going over some news that Behavior just dropped about Dead by Daylight, which addresses a lot of concerns that players have voiced ever since the release of patch 4.5. And remember to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video for more Dead by Daylight content. So here we have the post on the Dead by Daylight forums saying the next steps to 4.5.0. Obviously there have been a lot of concerns with the new UI, so Behavior has a little picture for us here of what they are working on. They are going to compress the information back in this bottom left corner like everyone wants them to, because it's way easier to look in one place than it is to look in like 5 different places. So hopefully this is a good change, but my only question about this is where are the blood point gains going to be? Are the blood point gains still going to be in the top right corner? And are status effects going to be in the top right corner as well? The reason this is important is because when killers apply a status effect to a survivor, it shows you what perk or add-on caused the status effect. However, if this information is still on the right side of the screen, and especially if you are running the killer or you're just really busy at the moment, you could miss that notification of what caused the status effect. Yeah, it's not a huge deal, but it's just a kind of minor issue. Let me know what you guys think of this work in progress UI here. Do you think it's a lot better? Personally, I think the survivors should be horizontal instead of vertical, because I don't know, they don't need to be layered up like this. We could just have them horizontal again, right? Also, I think the borrowed time and deep wound bleed out timers are way too small, so hopefully they make it a lot bigger. Now they have some additional comments about the HUD in the bottom here. So they basically say here, move survivors to the left, lowered hook counter, move generator counter to lower left, remove the text from the objectives, so now we only see the generator or the hatch icons. Then they added a separate scaling option for skill checks, so if you want to scale skill checks, there you go. Now this begs the question, is this going to be like the current UI option where you go to options and it says scaling and everything's already at 100%, so you can only scale things down? I think they really should have an option to be able to scale UI elements up. Here they say they increase the size of bleed out and hook progress bars, but we do not know by how much because they didn't show us. And then they're like, we hope this addresses some of the issues with the HUD. These changes are planned in 4.5.2 update. We are also working on more changes which will appear in later updates, such as changing status effects to avoid red on red. Not sure why that's an issue. Then increasing the visibility of killer powers, reverse bear trap timers, Dr. Madness, etc. Yeah, because Dr. Madness, everything looks super staticky and you can't really tell what level of madness each other's at. And then increasing the visibility of text on high resolutions. Now I quickly want to say something about the HUD. Behavior has mentioned before in the past that when things go onto the public test build, there is little they can do to change what is on the public test build. Like, they sound like they're crunched for time, and even if players want all these big changes, they cannot change it before the patch goes live. This probably has to do with how Dead by Daylight has become a bigger game, so there's a lot of red tape when it comes to trying to get changes incorporated into the game. So I think the devs did want to make these changes right after the public test build, and they probably started working on these changes right after the public test build, but because of how they work with patch updates, they just forced the public test build update to go live, and then decided that they would put this updated HUD they were already working on live later. Maybe Behavior doesn't care what players say, and they just push live whatever the frick they want, and then they make it look like they care what players say by pushing updates later on. Or they do care by working on updates earlier, they just don't post it live or say anything about it. Anyways, moving on from the whole HUD debacle, we have survivor locomotion. Ever since the new animation updates, a lot of survivors have felt that movement was changed, but behavior specifically states here that movement hasn't changed. It's just the new animations and transitions make you feel like the movement has changed. They say they want the transition to be as smooth as possible, so they are looking into the following changes, which is removing camera position, fixing some animation bugs, and reviewing turning animations to better reflect the old animation. Now, I definitely have a say on the camera position. I feel like it's way too zoomed in now. Like, you can't really see your feet anymore, whereas before you could. And also, when you're on the ground as a survivor, it's like mega zoomed in. Like, why does the camera have to be so zoomed in when you're a slug? I don't get it. It just feels so weird. Now, all of these changes will not be put into the game until the next chapter. So it's definitely going to be a while, at least a month and a half before we're going to get anything. After that, we have hit registration because there has been a large amount of players that are getting very BS hits. So, this is a high priority issue, they claim, and their team has identified a potential cause for the bad hits, so they are aiming to have a fix ready for 4.5.2. Now, this patch update could be as late as next week, because they typically release patches on Tuesday. Now, they have also said here they have investigated an issue which could cause killers to be teleported to the wrong side of the palette, and that this will also be fixed in 4.5.2. This is a relief because I swear there have been so many times in the game where I throw the pallet and the killer is put on the same side as me and then they just hit me. So that's been super lame, and I know a few of you have probably experienced it as well. Finally, we have the miscellaneous items, which are reported issues that they are aware of and they just want to cover it. Losing pips in custom games, yeah, that seems like a big one. Didn't know that was a thing. And missing collision on structures in the asylum map. That's why they disabled the asylum map, by the way, because it was so buggy. Go figure. What patch would have so many bugs in it? Impassable areas in some maps. We all know what this means. The Gas Heaven map, right? And then losing pips even though you appear to have safety pip. This is a visual bug. Notice here that these say 4.5.1 and these say 4.5.2. So 4.5.1 could be next week then, and then 4.5.2 could be what, like 2 or 3 weeks from now? We'll see. And misleading collision on rubble piles surrounding the asylum. And the last little bit they say here is, please keep in mind this is not an exhaustive list. We will include a full list of bug fixes along with the respective updates. And then they're thanking everybody for their constructive feedback, because you gotta maintain the good PR, you know? Anyways, let me know what you guys think of all these changes that they are suggesting for the HUD and everything else. Is it good? Is it not enough? Is it too little too late? Is behavior just going to keep releasing buggy patches and then think it's okay because they'll just hotfix it later? Is that acceptable? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more Dead by Daylight content. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, good luck out there in the fog, and see you next time.